Well, hello everybody. This is Chrystallynn, Cowgirlastrologer, and I am super excited tonight to get to come on and talk about my second video in my Ascendant series, my Rising Sign series. So what is the rising sign? A lot of people talk about it, and a lot of times a lot of people don't even know what that is, but it's a very, very important part in your chart. It is based on the time that you were born. So it's very important to know the time that you were born to get your rising sign. If you don't know how to get your, figure out your time, your ascendant, you can go on my birth chart calculator at cowgirlastrologer.com. And if you have any questions, you can also email me at chrystallynn68@gmail.com, and I can help you find that if you have any problems. So if you do not know your time of birth and you're thinking, darn it, I don't know, but you have the sun in Taurus or you have the moon in Taurus, you may recognize some of these themes that are familiar to you. So today we're going to be doing Taurus rising. This is where the sun was rising from the east when you were born. It was rising in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So it's a very beautiful sign. So it's just, in my opinion, when I see a Taurus rising, they're one of the most beautiful signs of the zodiac. The first thing that you're going to notice is their amazing eyes. And they have these eyes that have so much depth to them, strength of character, but they're very charming. And they're just very alluring. But it's almost as if you feel secure. And yeah, they've got awesome eyes. Some of the other characteristics of the Taurus rising is that they're very focused on security. Material security is one of the most important things when you first meet them. You will kind of feel like they're somewhat calculated and, you're not going to be able to budge them. They're very, very practical and they want facts. They want to know that they can look at all the details, all the information going on before they make a decision. And even once they have that, they will take their time. Now, of course, we know that the symbol for Taurus is the bull. So I was thinking about the bull, and I was thinking about that bull out there in the pasture. So when you imagine a bull, drive down that country road and you look out, you see that big oak tree and you see that bull. And of course, they always have a herd around them. And they're just kicking back out there. They're eating, they're swishing their tail, nothing's bothering them. They're not really aggressive in terms of, such as, I should say, a predator. The bull is a prey animal. So the bull needs to be maintaining himself all day long. A predator can eat like every couple of days and still survive. But the bull needs to be in green pastures, eating and taking care of himself all day long, along with protecting his herd. Okay, so just a couple things to think about when you think of that bull. Now, when you think of that bull, there is no way that you are going to budge that bull. You could whip him, you can push him, but he's just going to stand his ground. Now, that's not to say you're not going to irritate him and he won't turn around, but it takes a lot to irritate that bull. But once you do irritate that bull, you better watch out because he's coming and he'll trample everything in his sight. He has that amazing ability to calculate and pick his time of expression, of aggression, of protection. So those were some characteristics of the bull. The other characteristic I was thinking about with the bull is the fact that he doesn't want to waste his energy, okay? Because he knows if he is going to be attacked, if a lion's going to jump out of, you know, the bushes, that he's got to preserve his energy so that he has it for that time. So again, when we think of the Taurus, if you know anyone that has a Taurus rising or sun or moon in Taurus, you might recognize some of these characteristics that I'm talking about. They want harmony. They want harmony in their relationships. They want harmony in their family. They have a self-knowing and a self-confidence. Sometimes they can come off kind of cold at first, or just, again, just kind of very practical and structured. But when we start looking a little deeper underneath the Taurus, we're going to find out that there's a lot more going on. So let's take a look at it. First of all, the second house for the Taurus rising falls into Gemini. And whenever I see Gemini in the second house, I think of course, we've got to think of daily money. And I think of siblings, friendships, community, relationships, cousins. And if you know anything about the Taurus rising, they are very close to their family, to their siblings. They often take on a very nurturing or motherly role, okay? Or if you're a male bull, you know, your family comes to you. They know that you're the stable one. And they also know that you probably are the one that was smart and had a savings account. So watch out. But this is also, you'll often see the Taurus rising working with their family or working with friends in the community, coming up with business ideas. It's not uncommon to see them owning a salon and then hiring their, you know, every friend and family that they know to come in there and work. They have a strong sense of community. They have a strong sense of needing to connect. If you think of the bull, you know, they have their herd. They are the leader. They are at the top of that pecking order, but they need something to protect. If a bull is out there alone, although he can be out there alone, swishing his tail and eating and stuff, but that's not where he is the most productive. He's the most productive when he's managing, when he's protecting, when he's looking after, when he's got those relationships, okay? So we don't see the Taurus rising as a loner. They are herd animals, okay? But we get into the third house, we see that the third house is in Cancer. So again, now we're seeing again that community, relationships, brothers, sisters, cousins, family is ruled by the moon. There's a strong intuitive connection here. And again, they take on that motherly role. Their neighborhoods, their communities, they see them as that mother, that nurturer, that's someone they can go to and find emotional security. So although when you first look at the Taurus rising, they might put on that face that it's all about financial security, but when you get to know them a little bit underneath, they also care about emotional security. Now, I might have mentioned before when we're talking about the rising sign that it is your persona. It is the first thing that people see in you, okay? So if I were to come knock on your door and you were to answer the door and I surprised you with a surprise visit, you know, what would that initial face look like? And again, for the Taurus, that bull, you know, it's very calming. They're not necessarily going to attack you, but at the same time, you're not quite sure what's going on underneath that thick skin. All right, but again, as we start moving through the houses, because your ascendant or rising sign, okay, that's called both, sets your life path. These are themes that can play out in your life, okay? Now, of course, all the other planets that are in your natal chart can affect this in different ways, but these are the general themes. So I'm going to try to give some variables here, okay? But to get a full understanding, you really need to have someone help you interpret your chart for you. Now, when we get into the 4th house, the 4th house is in Leo, all right? And this is very interesting because the Taurus rising really can go through a time in their life where they are extremely special, that their, mother thinks that the world sets, on their child. They can also have a strong dominating mother, because 4th house can rule mother, rules home, it rules that home security. So there's a lot of sunshine there. There's a lot going on there. Sometimes you see this being a place where the mother might have been really popular or really well known. And so if it's, a Taurus rising young lady, she might have felt a little bit competitive with her mother. That's not uncommon. Or again, it has to do with where the moon is in your chart. Sometimes we see that the Taurus rising can have a narcissistic mother, one that just belittles everybody around her or makes very selfish decisions. Because security is so important to the Taurus rising, they don't like a lot of change, or they're uncomfortable with somebody controlling their life, making selfish decisions, because they really do think of everybody. They think of everybody in terms of what is best for all of us. But in that childhood, in those childhood years, that's where they can go through a lot of that insecurity, trying to find themselves. You also see here young males grow up, and the mother, again, a lot of times the mother can just think their Taurus sons can do no wrong. Okay, and they just, want them to be so amazing. Look at my son. And the Taurus rising is actually, as strong as they are, they have a little bit of a shy tendency. They're not needing all of that attention. When they get it, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but they kind of are like a prince or a princess. Okay, so when it comes to a home in their room, you will see that Taurus rising has the best room of the house. It's very colorful. It's comfortable. They have to have comfortable surroundings, and that Leo energy there in the 4th house ensures that, because Leos are creative and they want the best of everything. Some of the other characteristics of the Taurus rising, because they value financial security or monetary security, they will have the best of everything. They don't just go buy some blanket at the 99-cent store or, Target. They're going to go to Nordstrom's and get that really awesome one. Now, they might get a sale on that, and they will brag about that sale, but they're going to tell you how much that special blanket made by that special maker, and how much it's worth. They attach themselves to value here on earth. And again, that's where they find their emotional security, and their spiritual security is when their financial security is set. Okay. So these, again, are just some things to think about, because again, if you think of that bull out there, he's not happy if there's not food for everybody, if they're not all safe. Okay. And that's his job, is to make sure that there's safety. Now, when we move into the 5th house, we're going to see that the 5th house is in Virgo. And 5th house is relationships, romance, children, a lot of times entertainment. So there again, you see that little shyness in the 5th house where, we all want to jump out and say, here I am. The Taurus is a little bit more reserved there. And in love, again, there's that calculation. There's that perfectionism with their children. A lot of times you'll see a Taurus rising woman, she's the woman that has the, really awesome, 2-story, 2-car garage house with the pool in the background and the backyard and the barbecue, and she's taking the kids to school, and she goes and gets her nails done and gets her eyebrows done and gets her hair done, and then she might even go to the tanning booth or what have you, and come back and pick up the kids and get home, and then she's on them. You need to do your homework. You need to take care of, you know, keeping the house nice. They really care and value for their things, and they want everybody else to value that as well. Now, as far as work goes, we've got the 6th house in Libra. All right, so here, the 6th house, daily routine, we've got this Libra energy. So you see that they truly, truly, if anywhere that they want harmony, it's in their work. It's when they go to work. It has to be a beautiful place. Music playing, maybe a little candle in the, you know, their office has to look really cool. They've got to be comfortable, and they want to get along with others. They really do. They want that harmony there, because Libra is also ruled by Venus, and they care about other people. So their relationships, they can be a little bit more intense and perfectionistic, but when they go to work, everybody loves them. They don't always see that other side of them. Now, the Taurus male, you bulls out there, we're going to look at this 7th house in Scorpio, and for women as well. I'm trying to go back and forth for you guys here. 7th house in Scorpio, this is when things start getting really deep for the Taurus, because their relationships, they tend to draw in extremely intense, emotional, erratic relationships, very psychological issues here. A lot of times a young male, as he's maturing, will end up having like an older woman who might teach him, who, you know, his first experiences with somebody that's very psychologically engaging and just kind of allures him in. And it's very hard because he can't tell anybody. He can't tell all his friends, because a lot of times this older woman, you know, it's just, he doesn't know what to do with this intense emotional relationship. Okay, but it's one of the themes. Okay, maybe that didn't happen for you, but for some of you Taurus men out there might know what I'm talking about, that you had kind of a teacher in your early years, and that makes it difficult for you, because if that's your first experience and then you start trying to have relationships with people that are your own, you know, common bond, you know, you always kind of feel like, you know, you've experienced a little bit more. Okay, so again, just a little bit of that theme going on. For women, this can become an older dominating relationship, or a male that's older. That's not uncommon. The Taurus woman or young girl matures very early in like high school, and she looks like a woman. If you look even at Taurus, they like mature. And one of the classic examples they use for the Taurus is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That it's as if you're like this woman and you've got all these young boys around you, okay? And you just feel like you're just more mature. And it's a struggle for them, because you're kind of waiting for that knight in shining armor to come in, that prince. It's also not uncommon if you're a Taurus rising, you've gone through a divorce, or your parents have gone through a divorce when you were young, to kind of have a wicked stepmother. Okay, that is one of the themes that plays out. This can happen for a male as well. The parents of the Taurus rising a lot of times have a lot of power struggles, or a lot of competition between them, or the mother, because it's ruled by Leo, can over-dominate the father. Okay, and so the Taurus rising tends to want to take care of the father. Remember, we said that the 3rd house was in Cancer, so you see that they have that nurturing ability, and a lot of times their father in these themes can play out as almost like a sibling, like they feel like they're a brother or a sister. You know, not really a sister because we're talking about the father, but does that make sense? So these are some of the themes that can play out here. So with the 7th house in Scorpio, it's not uncommon that the Taurus rising has a lot of intense, or knows a lot of intense emotional people. And they do keep secrets well. They're not going to run around and talk. They don't run around and gossip. You can really trust a Taurus, you can lean on a Taurus, and they take on this emotional baggage a lot of times in their relationships. And they are the one, again, that everybody leans on. They try to stay stable for everybody. Now we get into the 8th house. Now we're going to get into Sagittarius. The 8th house rules those deep, dark things. We go a little deeper. 7th house in Scorpio is partnerships. 8th house now is once they get married, or once they, combine resources, other resources, or even as a young person. 8th house stuff could be family stuff. Okay, that there's some kind of scandal that tends to go on around those areas of security. Okay, the deepest thing that they want becomes the one thing that's constantly feels like it's being taken from them. And it's a struggle because our 8th house is our most intimate place in our chart. It's our secret place. You look at the 8th house being in Sagittarius. This also, like I was saying earlier, for men and women Taurus, can be attracted to older people, the partners that they come with, or somebody from a different culture, different religion. Okay, these are the type of relationships that can come in. A teacher-student type relationship can play here. And betrayal. There can be some deep betrayal in this area, So the 8th house is a hard place. The family issues that go deep down underneath in the Taurus rising's life can be where their deepest insecurity is, and where they're the most uncomfortable. But yet, it's part of their journey. Now we have the 9th house in Capricorn. Okay, when we think of Capricorn, that's ruled by Saturn. And when I think of the 9th house, I think of, education, spiritual journeys, spiritual education also can represent father. So here we go again with a strong father theme. A lot of times the father was very strong in their religious ideas, maybe even fanatic. Okay, the Taurus really, they're the one sign out of the whole zodiac, all 12 signs, that's not going to be pushed or over, attracted to religious, I apologize. I'm losing all my words right now. They're not going to go, they're not going to drink the Kool-Aid. Okay. The Pisces might drink the Kool-Aid, but the Taurus rising is not going to drink the Kool-Aid. They like religious structures that have history, that have foundations, that they can test, that has rituals. So a lot of times if you are someone trying to talk to a Taurus or Taurus rising, and you're going, oh my gosh, I saw Jesus in a dream last night, they're going to be like, wow, okay, yeah. They're just, they're very much into controlling that area of their life, because they have to live on such an earthly plane that they can't be out in la la land. They got to worry about, is there going to be food? Is there going to be security? Because if those things are not in line, they lose their security, their foundation. If you think of a bull out in a pasture where the pasture's dried up, you're not going to see a happy bull under the tree swishing his tail. Okay, he's going to be pacing, he's going to be looking, he's going to be frantic, because a herd animal, a prey animal, needs to eat every few hours. Okay, they again are not like the predator that can eat a big meal, attack, and then be fine for a few days. All right, so they have to have that constant security coming in. So we've got the 9th house in Capricorn. And again, you kind of see this father role, taking care of the father, wanting to please the father. Okay. Now, 10th house in Aquarius. This is interesting to me because as I was thinking about this, I was thinking, One thing and one characteristic about the Taurus rising and Taurus in general, even if you have Venus, Mars, Mercury, again, Sun, Moon, and Taurus, you're ruled by Venus, and it rules the throat. The body part is the throat. And you have the most beautiful singers that have this energy. Because the fifth house in Virgo, we get that shyness. So if you are one of those Tauruses that are hiding one of those beautiful voices, come out. I don't care if you need to go start taking singing lessons to open up that and get comfortable with it, just for your own, even if it's for your own hobby, because singing and music is going to be super powerful for you. And when I look at the 10th house in Aquarius, I think of internet, I think of radio, I think of airwaves. That's your career. That's why you have a lot of journalists or famous singers. Okay, I think I was looking at Dionne Warwick, Julian Lennon, Queen Latifah. All of them were Taurus risings, and they have really powerful voices, and they're very powerful on the airwaves. So you guys are excellent for radio. You have strong voices. Again, second house Gemini, that's communication. That's how you can make money, advertising, teaching. You guys can also make excellent counselors because you've got that seventh house there in Scorpio, and you understand people's psychological craziness. You know, you get the cray-cray thing. And you're the stable one. I mean, when the water signs come to you, they're just like, feel like they just got on land. And you guys are so awesome for that. We really need you. So Aquarius, you guys have, again, just in your career, you're meant to be public. You're meant to bring about a higher level of connection with your community, with people around you, and you can fight for a cause. Okay, you get on a cause or you get something that you believe in. This is very, very powerful. One other thing I want to mention, I know I'm kind of going all over the place. I have so many things I want to tell you guys, and I know that my videos are a little longer. I don't want to worry about that because the way that I intuit, I want to be able to give you what comes to my heart, and I don't want to worry. But there's little things that come to my mind of remembrance that I want to share with you as they come up. And the other thing is, when I talk about the Taurus rising, being a counselor, being a psychologist, dealing with emotional people, a lot of times they can take on a cause for women that have been abused. If you have this Taurus energy, and maybe you have seen abuse, suffered abuse, know abuse, because of that seventh house energy in Scorpio, there can be some really intense psychological stuff there that you might have seen. And a lot of times, because Venus is feminine, it can have to do with women. So if you are a counselor, or you are a musician, or you are a humanitarian, you may often see yourself attracting women who have had psychological abuse or psychological suffering, and you can do great things. That is also why you see the Taurus rising, even like if they go into business, like self-employed business, they will work in salons or make jewelry or make things that make women feel better. Creams, makeup, all of these, they're very talented, okay? I'm not even getting into the artistry, okay, that they can do. Very, very, very talented, all right? You guys are awesome for that. And you have this way of bringing all of the world back down to earth. And just remembering that sense of feel and touch and what's important around us, and not living in the la la land dream that we're always trying to attain. So, or capture. You guys are here. This is what's important. And I love that about you. 11th house is in Pisces. So your 11th house, dreams, wishes. Now here we go. We're going to get a little more spiritual here. Your friendships, those gurus that come in, you're going to attract very spiritual people that teach you the spiritual side, but it'll be more in your social circles where you can control it, okay, where you can kind of pick and choose, I like that idea, but it has to be your idea. One thing about the bull, remember, if you want to bring an idea to the bull, do not push, do not prod, because they will plant themselves and they will not budge. But if you present things in a practical way, or you show them over time, they might start to get a little curious. They might start to check it out. They might start to put their defenses down. And, you know, in that 11th house, you'll have a lot of spiritual, creative people. And again, as musicians, that's not uncommon that you would have your circles and dreams and wishes out there in that dreamland. Okay. But again, it's something you can control in that 11th house. Last but not least, 12th house in Aries. So your 12th house is that place of sanctuary, that place of being alone. And this is a place that you can battle out in your mind, that's subconscious, and those, you know, the bed pleasures, you know, the things that we desire that, you know, are very private. With Aries there, you can have a hidden agenda. You can be calculating. You kind of have to be to protect your domain, but you don't want to be hard on yourselves. You want to find a way to not only be at peace materially and at peace with all your wonderful things that you value, that you've connected to, but you want to be at peace with yourself inside. You're a self-starter. You're a leader. You can hold your own. You know, it was funny because my daughter is a Taurus, and last week, you know, you saw one of my videos. It was like, woo, we're going through all kinds of emotional changes, and she sees me because I've got that Pisces energy, that watery energy, going more up and down emotionally and trying to swim through things. She sees that and she texts me. And this is not something that comes out of a Taurus easy. If they send you a message, she said to me, you know, keep swimming, Mom, and I'll be your floaty if you need me. And I just thought, oh, wow. I mean, that is knowing that you've got that backing of the bull. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. I hope this brings some thought. I'm just one of many videos out there on the Ascendant. I think you should watch them all and get some insights into who you are. This is one part of your chart. So if you would like to have a reading with me, I have a special still going until January 31st, $65 for 30 minutes, and I can help you with all of this and help you see how it connects to the other part of your chart. So thanks, you guys, and keep showing us how it's done. Taurus rising. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye. Looks like it failed to stop.